Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Alicia Cohen. I'm the director of the school. Thank you for being with us today. I'm going to wait just a moment while people move into the webinar before we'll begin. Welcome. Here at the Hubbard School, we want to make sure that you have everything that you need to start the fall term. So I want to first talk a little bit about our webinar today. Please notice that we have a Q&A box where you can ask us questions. I'm joined here today with staff from the Hubbard School who are ready to share with you their perspective. We also have the chat enabled and you can put your comments in the chat. In March, as all of you probably know, nearly all of our students completed their learning remotely. We had many students successfully complete the term in places near and far, from Minnesota to places like Seoul, Korea, Washington, D.C., and even neighboring Nebraska. In fact, in our summer issue of the Murphy Reporter, we featured many of our students' success stories for spring. It also highlights the important classwork and everything that was really completed in the school in the spring, despite the pandemic. Head to our website at hsjmc.umn.edu to learn more and to read the summer issue of the Murphy Reporter if you haven't. So throughout the spring, we were really pleased to see that we had so many successes. At the same time, we learned that we had some growth to do, both in preparing our building, our facilities, our technology, our classes, and even our instructors and students for learning this fall. When we started planning for fall, I want to let everyone know that we had a number of priorities. And the first one was your health. The health of our students and our instructors is a top priority. When we hold class in person this fall, all of our instructors and students will be wearing masks and practicing physical distancing. Instructors will also be given face shields that they can use. We also knew that we needed to do some work to enhance the technology in our labs in our basement. In our basement area, you will notice that our labs that typically seat 60 individual students are now designed and set up for 20 students. And in the spring, we knew that we had to pivot quickly. And unfortunately, some students weren't able to have all the equipment that they needed. We're now prepared to do checkout early, so that if there's a need to pivot this fall, all students will have all the technology, the multimedia journalism equipment that they need to keep learning remotely. We know that you'll be able to you'll need to have a series of equipment that will help with remote reporting, for example, and we invested in a number of cameras and different devices to check out to students. We have also made a number of changes related to the continuity of our software available for students. If you're participating in a hybrid class, it's important that you both have Adobe software, for example, available in the classroom and available to you at home. And so that software will now be available to you remotely, even if you're not able to be with us in the lab. Due to physical distancing requirements, it's going to be very important that a lot of our services be set up to serve you remotely as best as we can. We will be setting up a variety of virtual offices this fall that will be ready to host you in virtual office hours and meetings, and have a number of events that are planned online for remote learning. We want to enhance our synchronous engagement opportunities for all students, and so we plan to offer a series of webinars and other virtual events that we hope will be beneficial to you and allow you to continue to engage with some excellent professionals from not just Minnesota, but really around the globe who are prepared to connect with you in this new virtual environment. I also want to talk with you directly about our Sunrise Plan. All faculty and staff have participated in instructional development for remote teaching and learning services. And we're preparing to have classes that meet remotely, meet high quality design standards. We won't only be using Zoom. Students will be using a variety of learning technologies to work together in groups, and faculty will be facilitating classes using Canvas. All instructors are required to meet these fall design standards, and that means that if your class, for example, meets for typically 3 hours per week in an asynchronous manner manner, meaning it's not the same time every day, the instructor is required to deliver 2,100 instructor-led minutes over the course of the semester through asynchronous content. Most of our classes will be taught remotely with a synchronous element, and so many of you are seeing the words remote on your schedule. Students reported over the summer that these were very engaging. We tested out ways that we can meet with students, and our larger lecture classes will have synchronous elements on Canvas. We know that many students experience some Zoom fatigue, and we don't expect you to sit in a lecture format online for 75 minutes. And so we've been working to ensure a strong, engaging experience for students and for all courses, whether you begin remotely at the beginning of the year or you pivot remotely in late November. We do have dozens of face-to-face lab classes planned where there are essential elements of the class that we think are important to bringing students onto campus and into our labs. We think that you will gain an advantage from coming to class. You'll learn more about your gear. You'll be able to interact directly with your faculty members in the room, and you can work with them so you can picture how your shoots will be in your photojournalism class by being together in proximity. However, if for some reason health conditions do change, our instructors are preparing backup plans, and they will be prepared to flexibly move your classes synchronously into a remote learning environment. We plan to offer each student their own photography and other journalism kits at the very beginning of the semester, including with alcohol wipes, hand sanitizer, and some safety gear that will help you be successful even if you have to flexibly transition to learning earlier than we do hope for. In short, we are hoping for the best this fall. We are preparing to keep you learning no matter what. Go ahead and check in on Canvas around August 31st. That's when most of our faculty return to contract and have been planning on uploading their syllabi into Canvas. Instructors are trying to post their syllabi early before the first day of class. During the term, students will notice that modules are going to be pushed out weekly and developed accordingly. If the class does pivot or if it has to change to a remote learning situation, your Canvas website, the instructor's Canvas website, will be updated to ensure continuity of instruction. All instructors are required in the school to hold synchronous office hours. This means that you will be able to drop in virtually without an appointment, but through a predetermined period of time, just like you would if they were holding office hours in their class offices. These office hours will function just like if you were meeting them face to face. You don't need an appointment. The office hours will be uploaded to our Hubbard School website next to every faculty member name by September 8th, the first day of class. Instructors will also have their information for their office hours on Canvas. Virtual staff hours also will be available. Our staff are very excited about this. If you need to meet with someone in the main office, you can drop in, you'll be greeted by a receptionist, and then get the help you need. We'll be on call. We're also really excited about some of our fall programs. We plan to have monthly town hall meetings and conversations with industry opinion leaders. We feel that we can use this time to discuss how journalism, advertising, and public relations, how these industries are all responding to the issues of today, like the pandemic, as well as some of the diversity, inclusion, and equity issues that have been prominent right now in the press. Our industry partners are also very excited to offer career advice to students as well. Many of you are familiar with and perhaps have been looking forward to our mentor program. Our mentor program is over 30 years old, and it will continue this fall in a more virtual way. Now that we've opened the program up to mentors from around the world, mentors won't just be in Minneapolis. We can connect students with mentors and alumni from anywhere in the United States or even abroad. We've had many professionals sign up to mentor students, which is very exciting. All mentors will make themselves available to meet with students virtually with any of the students who are signed up for the program. I also am proud to announce a very exciting partnership with Hubbard School alum, Alex West-Steinman. Alex and her company, The Coven, will help us offer leadership development opportunities for students. Through her partnership with the Hubbard School majors, All students will have access to a specialized hub of networking meetings and will provide more mentors for our Black, Indigenous, and students of color underrepresented and often underreached by media and strategic communication industries. These opportunities are open to all of our students, and watch for announcements about these programs through Canvas. I really want you to turn on your Canvas announcements this fall. That's our best way to notify you and to update you of changing conditions or opportunities. We will also continue to connect with you through our Murphy Reporter, through our Murphy Weekly newsletter, and through all of our social media channels. We're also working our best to figure out ways to make our community engagement classes work for students this year. Those are the classes that offer students a chance to work on site remotely, often on campus, with news organizations. We'll be working with our partners and our instructors to make sure that everyone is aware of all the safety precautions that we're requiring now. Students will still be able to work off-site and have these hands-on learning opportunities with the school. We'll be working on independent practicum agreements to guide these types of off-site experiences. Now I'm pleased to introduce Rebecca Rossier, who many of you know as my Assistant Director for Student Services. She will be talking with you about student services this fall.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Rossier, Associate Director of Student Services, and I work with Christine Mullen to provide advising and services to students in the Hubbard School. The first thing we want students to know is that we are here for you. Both Christine and I will be holding virtual office hours where we will be available for students to drop in and ask questions or just check in. This is in addition to email, of course, which we respond to within a day in almost all cases, and setting up appointments, which you can do via email. Our drop-in hours will be visible on a calendar you can find on the website, and this page can be found on our COVID resource page as well as in the signature page of our email accounts. On the slide we have up right now, you can see the page with our calendars, along with an explanation of who to talk to about what, in case you don't know who to talk to. When you click on one of our calendar dates, the page will expand and will provide the link to get to our virtual office. As you get ready for the fall semester, be sure to check your registration to understand how, where, and when your courses will be delivered. I would suggest you treat this semester like your first one on campus and do a practice run in your head about how your week will flow, when you'll need to be at a screen for a course, when will you do your classwork for your courses that are not meeting at a set time, and so on. Be sure to check with Student Services with questions about your courses. If there's a course you're hoping to take that is full, be sure to get yourself on the wait list for that course very soon. Be sure to attend your first day of class, however attendance is defined for that class. Check your Canvas site before the first class meeting to know what is expected of you for the first day. Students who don't attend the first day of class may lose their seat in class, so be sure to understand what it means to attend your class that first day. If you have questions about courses in your APAS, which keeps track of your graduation progress, be sure to check in with Student Services, as always. And next up is going to be Christine, our Undergraduate Student Services Coordinator, to talk about how to stay connected with the school this fall.
Hi everyone, we're super excited to have you back this fall. I just wanted to do 2 quick announcements. I want to let you know about the Murphy Weekly. So that's going to get started up again weekly like you're used to during the semester. So definitely read that for information about jobs, internships, upcoming events, how to get involved with student orgs, any COVID updates. We're going to kind of put them all in that email. You may feel like things are slowing down right now because of COVID, or they might be slow in the fall, but they're actually going to be really busy. So we already have people contacting us, getting excited to hire you as interns for the fall. Our student orgs are going to be really active. And then there's all those cool different programming that Dr. Cohen talked about. So I know this sometimes gets in the habit of getting in your spam folder or maybe overlooked, but definitely my big plug, just read that email. And then new this fall, we're creating an online advising hub. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for everything that would normally go in the Murphy Weekly, but it'll be updated live. So as stuff comes to us, we'll get it added to that website, and then you'll still get that weekly email as a reminder to double check those things. But if ever you have questions, you can pop in and ask those on your own. And then if you do have any questions, if you're just not sure where to look, as always, just reach out and contact us. We're super excited to have you back this fall. And then up next, we have Erin Reichelt. So Erin is the CLA career counselor. Some of you maybe already know, but she supports our majors here in the Hubbard School, and she's a grad of our program. She's a great resource as you're working on career planning. She's also the pre-law advisor, so if that's an interest area of yours. And she's going to talk about the great services and programming Career Services is offering up to help especially students navigate career planning during COVID.
Thanks, Christine. Hi, everyone. Like Christine mentioned, my name is Erin Reichelt, and I am your career counselor. So I am one of the career counselors of many in the CLA Career Services office, and I work with journalism and also political science. And like Christine mentioned, I'm also the pre-law advisor. So if any of those, or maybe all of those, are true for you, you will certainly be seeing a lot of me over the course of the next few years. So the main updates that I wanted to share is first to reiterate Christine's message to make sure you truly are reading your Murphy Weekly. So I talked to a lot of students who ask me about finding internships, and many of them haven't taken the time to read the Murphy Weekly, and that's where we share all of them. So when we hear about an internship or job posting, we put it in the Murphy Weekly, and it's really important to make sure that you're reading that, make sure you're looking at the job postings, and make sure you're familiar with how to use Gold Pass. If any of those, if you have questions about those, you can always reach out to me or to my office. So the Career Center, we're still figuring out exactly how our services will be offered, but do know that we will for sure be available virtually. We know that. In the resource sheet that Rebecca will send you after this session, you'll see a link to our office website, which has all of our resources, including a specific COVID-19 section, and also instructions on how to access drop-in support. So during the academic year, that's available Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30. So you can use this to meet with a peer advisor to go over things like a resume review, a cover letter review, or learning how to use Gold Pass, which is our job search resource and where we direct all employers to post their opportunities. So many of you may be familiar with some of the career fairs that we have hosted in the past. Those will still be happening. They will just be virtual. Our CLA Internship and Career Fair will be happening on October 1st, and you will definitely hear more about that. We also send out a Career Corner email to all students from our office, so that will detail all of the events that are happening, different spotlights of alumni and employers as well. So make sure to check all of the emails that you're receiving that have career in the title or from your department, of course. To make sure that you know about all of the resources that are available. On our website, so the CLA Career Services website, we also have a direct link to COVID-19 resources, which includes a regularly updated YouTube page. So any of the virtual events that we're doing or panels, we record those, and those are posted on there. We also have some short tutorial videos on things like how to set up a LinkedIn account or how to network virtually, or things that might be a little bit more relevant to you right now. Primarily, we just want you to know that we're here to support you. As you move forward with your career search, I'm happy to do individual appointments as well as the drop-ins. That link will be on the resource sheet as well. And if you do have any questions, you can always feel free to reach out to me directly. So next up, we've got Erica Nelson, and she'll be talking about some of the building protocols and safety within Murphy Hall. So thank you all.
Thank you, Erin. Good afternoon, everyone. As Erin mentioned, I am the Chief of Staff here in the Hubbard School. Many of you wouldn't see me, but I help manage the staff that provides all the support for you that is additional to the instruction. So as you can tell already, we have a great team working to make this a great fall. And I just want to talk a little bit about what to expect in Murphy Hall specifically. Some of these things have been mentioned before, but I'm just going to review them so everybody hears it. The buildings will remain open but with limited access, as are all the buildings on campus. And you need to use a U card to get into every building. You don't need specific permissions. Anyone with an active good U card can get into the building, so please make sure that you carry your U card with you at all times. And don't hold the door for others. Use your U card to swipe yourself into the building. Let them use their U card to swipe themselves into the building. It helps us to be able to contact trace if needed, tell who is in the building, when they're in the building, that kind of thing. So please do that. All of the classrooms that you'll be using will have designated seats that you for you to sit in. So you don't have to decide what 6 feet is. There's an image on the screen right now of what our classroom 130 looks like. It's already been marked so you can tell where to go. We'll be doing the same for the instructional labs, and any other classroom that you happen to be in Murphy Hall will be designated like that. When we have 2 doors in a classroom, we'll have an indoor and an outdoor. We'll have wipes and sanitation supplies at the door. You can take a wipe from the dispenser and make your way to your seat. Make sure your area is clean. Take ownership for that. And then when you leave, just take your wipe with you and you can leave, and the next person should do the same. Classrooms and shared spaces are going to be cleaned at night, but we don't have the capacity or the time to clean between classrooms. So you're going to need to take some ownership for that. So use those sanitation wipes. We'll have them at every entrance to every classroom and sort of scattered throughout the building. Use that to make sure that you have a safe space for you to learn. The building will be open. All the floors, the restrooms, stairwells, etc. But please do maintain social distance in those spaces. Don't crowd the stairwells. Don't crowd the hallways. Allow people to pass. As mentioned before, faculty will have office hours, but they'll all be virtual. Their hours and how to connect during those hours will be posted on our department website when classes begin, and they'll also be on the syllabi that you get from the instructors. So even if you have a class that's live, you may do their virtual office hours, not live office hours. And many of you who will be in the building will also be in our instructional labs that are in the basement. And there'll be more on that to follow, but we'll rearrange that space to conform with social distancing. There's only 1 class down there at a time, and more specifics coming later in the presentation. If you have time between classes and want a place to hang out, there's a document published by the University of Minnesota. There's a link that will be on the resource page that Rebecca will share after this presentation of places on campus that are designated for studying. They've marked certain areas in those spaces. Murphy Hall is not one of those spaces. So please look at that resource document for a place to go between classes to study, log in, get your work done. If you should need our main administrative office, it won't be staffed in person, but we will have a virtual front desk. We'll have information about how to get a hold of us and the website, and all that information will be both posted on the office door, and it will be on the COVID-19 page of the HSJMC website. And we'll do our best to help you however we can. Don't be afraid to reach out if you need us, and I hope you have a great fall. Next speaker is Wally Swanson. He's our Digital Media Studios Coordinator. Thank you.
Thanks, Erica. I'm Wally Swanson. I manage and coordinate all of the lab operations and media production equipment aspects of the Hubbard School. Needless to say, there are some special challenges presented for students who are interested in professional journalism courses during a pandemic. So field reporting is going to introduce the need for video and audio production equipment that are not considered normal school supplies. We've invested a great deal of money, and I have to say time, to bring our inventories up to levels so that students in courses that teach aspects of field reporting will be issued the required equipment kits for the entire semester, rather than having to share equipment for short-term checkouts. Now, this is going to protect students and staff from too much mixed contact with each other. In addition to, I have to say, providing really generous access and opportunity to learn how to use your video and audio devices. We anticipate that we'll be issuing that equipment during the second week of classes once all those last-minute student schedules have been addressed and the changes have been in place. Now, we're enhancing those kits to meet some of the guidelines for conducting in-person interviews. And we're tracking recommendations from both health officials, but also emerging industry practices for how you can safely interview people in the field and how you can protect yourself. We're also investing in and adapting our licenses for the required software. This addresses not only the needs of media production classes, but also design classes. So lab courses that require software will have licenses made available, and that'll enable students to use the software on your own computers. Courses that don't meet in the lab will have software access through a limited number of computers in the basement of Murphy. Those processes are yet to be determined and worked out, but we will get to those. Primarily, the university is making things available through other facilities on campus, primarily at the libraries. So you'll be getting information about that. Now, obviously, in order, if you want to leverage the kind of course software that's required here, your personal computing needs are a concern for students and for their families. Scott Dirks, who is our technical professional and system administrator, is going to talk now about those technical recommendations so you can make a good computer purchase.
Hello, I'm here to speak about the hardware and software needed to succeed in Hubbard School courses. We recommend students enrolled in Hubbard School courses have their own computer. A desktop or a laptop, Windows or Mac OS, all should work fine as long as they meet some minimum requirements. Chromebooks are not sufficient to meet the needs of Hubbard School students. For general courses, you should have a Core i5 CPU, at least 8 gig of RAM, and a 256 gig SSD. Modern operating systems are created to take advantage of the low latency and high speed of solid-state drives. Mechanical hard drives just don't perform well under the demands of a modern OS. For lab classes, particularly those involving media creation, you should have at least 16 gig of RAM. A Core i7 CPU will provide faster video manipulation, and a 512 gig or larger SSD will help with the substantial file sizes involved with video. Since many computers sold today can be very difficult to upgrade later, it may be wise to over-provision your computer when purchased to improve its longevity. For software, note that Microsoft Office is available free of charge to students enrolled at the university. We've made a substantial investment in Adobe software licenses. The Adobe Student License Pack will be provided to students registered in Hubbard School lab classes that require access to the Adobe Creative Cloud software suite. This license allows students to install the Adobe CC software in their personal computers for use in completing required classwork. The Hubbard School has some loaner laptops available for students who do not have access to appropriate computer resources to complete the required work for their class. If you feel you may need such resources, please speak with your instructor so that we may arrange appropriate support for you. We want you to succeed. Don't hesitate to reach out with any tech questions you have, and we'll do our best to answer them. Next up is Cody Hennessy, the Journalism and Digital Media Librarian.
Thanks, Scott. Hi all. So I'm Cody and happy to be able to share some updates from the libraries here with you today. First of all, you can continue to access library resources this fall by using the library website at lib.umn.edu. You'll find a ton of online articles and ebooks there you can download with your UMN ID. You can also request print materials from all of the University of Minnesota library locations using the Get It feature. So this allows you to page books for pickup to one of the 4 library locations that should be open to you this fall. So you can also use Get It to have books delivered by mail for free to your campus office or dorm room, as well as directly to your home when needed. So while all of the campus libraries that are smaller, such as the Journalism Library in Murphy Hall, will be closed for in-person use, the Journalism Library collections are still accessible to you. While the details and hours are still being finalized, the current plan is for the 4 major libraries on the Twin Cities and St. Paul campus to open. So those are the Wilson, Walter, McGraw, and Health Sciences libraries. So one major difference this fall is that, like Murphy, those libraries will only be accessible to UMN staff, faculty, and students with their U-cards. So make sure you carry your U-card with you this fall. Library collections and study spaces will be open and available. You can retrieve books from the library stacks on your own for checkout, and staff will be on hand behind plexiglass to guide you through a contactless self-checkout process. Library study spaces have been reconfigured over the summer to allow for socially distant study. Masks, of course, will be required. Study spaces will be frequently cleaned, and cleaning products will be on hand for you to wipe down shared surfaces before and after use. Study rooms are going to be limited in most cases to a single user at a time, though the Toaster, a new space in the basement of Walter Library, is providing some reservable group study spaces that will accommodate the 6 feet distance between participants. Walter Library will also have some smart computers available with Adobe Creative Commons and other audio and video software for you. Also, course reserves. So course reserves will only be available online this semester, and you can access those readings via Canvas or the reading list provided by your instructor. Faculty can reach out to Jan Nyberg for help with setting up course reserves for the fall. So you can also reach out to me for help anytime. I'll be working from home, but happy to set up Zoom appointments, respond by email, or use Google Chat to answer any of your research or library questions. There are also undergraduate students who are employed by the libraries as peer research consultants, and you can reach out to them to make online appointments for research help as well. And you can go to lib.umn.edu/smart/PRC, and all these links are in that resources link in the chat. And finally, I want to mention a few library guides if you're new to the resources in your discipline. So to find scholarly journal articles related to most Hubbard courses, you can use the Mass Communication Guide. There are a lot of specialized databases for strategic communication on the Strategic Communication Guide, of course. And we subscribe to historical and contemporary news databases where you can get newspaper and magazine article access directly online, and you can check the news sources guide for more along those lines. So I hope this helps, and good luck with the semester. And we'll return now to Christine, who will take us through some questions.
All right, thanks, Cody. I just want to remind everyone that you can enter questions into the Q&A function or into the chat. So I know that was a lot of information kind of all thrown at you at once. But if you have any questions right now, we can kind of go over those. Just give a second. Looks like that's all we have for now. I'll go to, okay. So it looks like one popped in. What happens if you need to change your schedule? And does Rebecca want to pop in and take over that one?
Sure. Let's see, start my video. Yep. Yes, as we get closer to the start of the semester, you may want to change your schedule, either just for one class for another, or if you're not comfortable with one sort of delivery and you want to go towards another one, for example, in-person to remote, we certainly can work with you on the journalism classes to find an arrangement that'll work well for you. So as with everything else, just reach out, send me an email, and we'll figure things out, but that's definitely a possibility.
Thank you. We have another one, and I think this one might be helpful for Wally to answer, but what happens if my laptop or tech breaks down?
There are going to be several avenues there depending on what it is. And there are a couple of ways we'll take to approach it. For one thing, there's some central resources that the university has. Obviously, we have limited capacity for, if you have a personal computer, and there are warranty issues, we're not probably going to be able to do some of the things that are necessary. So it could take some fielding to figure that out. What will be more important is if your equipment breaks down, if you've been issued cameras or audio recorders, we will have a way of contacting us, and we will make available in-person appointments so that you can drop things off. We'll take a look at it and see if it's something that's just a question of a setting or some other user error in operating the equipment. If something is actually malfunctioning, we'll switch out for an equivalent thing, or we'll actually replace the component. The biggest thing about that is if those kinds of things happen, be sure to allow for some extra time, because we're not going to have the kind of in-person access 5 days a week that we normally have.
And I can add, certainly if there are issues with, you're having issues with software or your technology, you can certainly reach out to us. We're willing to help. We may have to redirect you elsewhere if we can't solve the issue, but certainly feel free to contact any of us, and we'll do our best to either solve the problem or get you to someone who can.
Awesome, thank you. let's see, there's just a couple final ones. So questions about whether there'll be internships this fall and if employers are hiring. And I'm going to go ahead and take that one. Definitely there will be internships this fall, and we already know employers are hiring. We get emails still in our office of people trying to hire you. A lot of interesting remote internships have been created. And so I think definitely keep an eye out. The Murphy Weekly links to a live job and internship board. And so both Erin and myself will add to that as stuff comes in. And there is stuff on there right now. So definitely take a peek at that. But as the semester starts gearing up, there's going to be a lot more stuff. So keep your eye out for that. And then let's see. What happens if we have a change in our financial circumstances due to COVID-19? Will the university continue to have emergency scholarships available? And I can answer that unless Dr. Cohen wants to pop in and answer that. Right. Well, we definitely will have some emergency scholarships. We're just getting them worked out, but we're going to have some technology scholarships available for students. And so so from the Hubbard School, so there'll be instructions in the Murphy Weekly and posted on that advising hub about how to apply and be considered for those technology related internships. And then CLA, of course, will still do emergency funding. And so we'll get all of that information compiled and ready for you. So if there's ever an emergency or anything, at least you know you have places to reach out to and connect to, because we wouldn't want financial emergency to be a reason that you're not finishing or continuing this fall.
Thank you, Christine. I want to pop in to add, I couldn't get my camera up quickly enough just a second ago, but I want to underscore the point that any student who's in this webinar, who's watching this video, if anything unexpected occurs during the semester, we want you to have all the resources that you need to keep learning this fall. Your health, your well-being, your ability to access your classes, the technology support, books, access to library materials, all of these issues are very important to us. We want you to have all the support that you need. Our alumni and friends of the school have been very generous to our school over the past several months. We do have funds available for emergency technology scholarships. We are pairing that with resources at the university level and the college level to provide emergency support through One Stop that will be packaged as part of people's financial aid. But we understand that situations can change. Parents can get laid off who might have been supporting your education. Students might lose their jobs as well at different times. So if you have a change in circumstances, please reach out. We can't help if we don't know that you're struggling. And the best people to reach out to are our excellent student services team, led by Rebecca and Christine, who are here to help you. If there are other questions, we would be delighted to hear from you. Please feel free to pop them in the Q&A. I see that we did have one question related to class availability, and Rebecca Rossier asked for that person to be in touch with her directly, but I also wanted to say to everyone that we anticipate that during the first week of the term, there'll be a little bit more add drop than usual. Some students will pivot to online classes and to remote classes. Other students might want to pick up an on-campus class that might open up. So continue to look every day to see what classes are available. We have been looking as we have had terrific enrollment this fall, both within the school and across the College of Liberal Arts. So if you're hearing from other people that they're really not returning to school, our evidence is that is just not true, and that students are really committed to continuing their education at Minnesota and are very excited to be back this fall. So we are seeing some full classes, so make sure that you reach out and that you register as quickly as possible. Christine, do you have anything else to add to that? I know that you've been in touch with students daily along with Rebecca.
No, yeah, definitely just reach out if you have questions, and we're here for you. And a lot of things are case by case, but there's lots of good opportunities. So definitely reach out to Rebecca for course questions. And it looks like that's all the kind of Q&A chat questions that we have for now.
Then I think that I'll just end this webinar by saying that we will continue to review what courses we are offering this fall. We will look to see what students need as there's demand. If you want to get into a class and there's a wait list, make sure to sign up for it. We try not to have wait lists where we know we won't be able to add classes. But if you talk with Rebecca and with Christine, there'll be other classes that will be available this spring. And we have expanded our offerings during the summer term as well, so that all students can graduate on time with all the classes they need. Please keep in touch with us. Let us know if there's anything else you need. And up next, I'll hand back off to Christine to finish this up.
Awesome, yeah. So just some few final thoughts here. So this is what we know right now. But if you, like I said, we have questions, get in contact with us. Rebecca put a link to a resource page that we've compiled. And so you can see this link here or go into the chat and find the link and click on it. It opens a PDF of some good resources for you related to the stuff that we talked about today. You can always check our email or our website for questions, and we're going to have a COVID tab that we're going to be putting on the website. So right when you go to the hsjmc.umn.edu, you should be able to see it right away, and that's where all the updates related to fall and COVID will be posted. Check your email. That Murphy Weekly will get you all kinds of good points with us. Check your Canvas. So for course information, keep checking back for updates. That's going to be really, really important, obviously with online learning, but just in general, Canvas is going to be our way to connect with you a lot this semester. And then, yeah, general questions after today. If you're not sure where to go, we just threw a lot at you. You can always email me at sjmcugs@umn.edu, and I will answer your question or find someone who can. So thanks so much for joining. And then it looks like Dr. Cohen will be coming back for just one more final comment.
Thank you, everyone. I am so delighted that you were able to be with us. We have recorded this town hall and we plan to share it with those who attended as well as those who have missed it by email next week. By August 31st, our website, hsjmc.umn.edu, will have a COVID-specific tab on it, and it will lead you to any information that you need. You can also reach out on our social media channels. Follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram for up-to-the-date information and infographics as well. Thank you again for joining us today. We're really looking forward to having everyone back on in Murphy Hall or virtually with us in our virtual Murphy Hall building this fall. I hope you have a great afternoon and be in touch if you have any questions. Have a great day.